Hello ladies and gents, so today we have got our second war of the season against HC Magneto, and we know that they're a very good alliance, so we'd have to be on our A game to come away with anything today. And I will be taking path 7 in section 1 and then path 2 in section 2. So the first section I'm going to be using Archangel for both fights. The first fight on this path is kinetic transference, so we want to avoid taking too many hits into our block. Immortal Abomination Special 1 has a huge amount of hits on it, so if you take all of that onto block, it will probably push Immortal Abomination all the way up to his Special 3, which is likely why he has been placed here. However, we're using Archangel, so it's a very simple fight for us. All we've got to do is parry and heavy once or twice, and that will probably produce enough neurotoxins to shut the fight down. With Immortal Abomination being awakened, he starts with poisons on him already, which makes this even easier. So, to all intents and purposes, this is the equivalent of Human Torch fighting a Mystic with his pre-fight active. So, the second fight on this path is Vivified, which is 100% power gain and brute force. So ideally you want to keep this fight at a fairly fast pace, and with Venom specifically baiting those SP1s, because Venom's Special 2 is just annoying to deal with. Archangel's parry heavy playstyle sort of favours this sort of matchup quite well, because the damage to power ratio is quite high, and obviously when you've got Archangel running with a full mutant team, then you get very good RNG and it's a fast fight. So I've run the regen boost for this path simply to keep myself topped up, as brute force can be quite painful if the AI is not cooperating and you have to, spend a lot of time trying to bait those specials. Thankfully that wasn't necessary in this fight, but there have been fights where I've just not been able to get a special out of the AI for 10-15 seconds, and you just watch your health melt away. So we're using Apocalypse for both of these fights in section 2. And with Cable we've got our full suite of abilities for Apocalypse from the word go, which is always nice. It makes him far more easy to use offensively. The hitting into stun is nice, and the specials do far more damage. So the strategy for this fight is to get that disorientate immunity, which will be useful for the Terrax fight. If I hadn't had class advantage and this was a sort of higher health pool champion, I'd have probably fought this a little bit slower. I'd have just taken one parry to get the disorientate on me and just sort of waited it out until I got the immunity. But this is, a small fight. I've got the power start 1, and it's really not going to take very long to end this fight. So for the last fight in this war, we've got Terrax. Again, we're going to be using Apocalypse for it because he's got that disorientate immunity built up now. Normally I would use someone like Symbiote Supreme or Gladiator Hulk to deal with him if this was in sort of regular story content, but obviously with Alliance War the team is built around a far wider plan, and we don't necessarily have the luxury of bringing in that absolutely perfect counter in each matchup. Now, when I play Apocalypse, I tend to go for a Special 2 first if I've used a Power Start 1, so that I can get what I consider to be the harder to get debuffs active quickly. And once we've got those in place, it's a simple case of maintaining them and getting that Special 1. So once I've got the Special 1 active, I will just cycle through those Special 1s, because the red damage does start to build up quite nicely once you've got all 4 debuffs on. With the health pools that we're dealing with now, it's not really worth going for the Special 3, so we won't bother. We'll just cycle those Special 1s and keep the debuffs on, and We've even got a little bit of healing from willpower with the armor ups. So all in all, this was a nice clean fight, and it was a good way to end the war. Our battle group finished this war perfectly, 0 deaths, so hats off to our planners, and obviously good work by the rest of us. We did win this war quite well, quite convincingly, with only 6 deaths, which is a very good standard to try and maintain. I think as of the time of recording this, we're sort of in the top 5 globally, which, while it may not last, is quite a cool thing to be able to claim, even if it is only War 2. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio!